Shattered Truths, Book 1. Shattered Truths, Chapter 1, Seeds of Discord. The sun glowed high above Rosewater, casting a warm, golden hue across the annual spring festival. The air was rich with the scents of blooming lemon trees and jasmine from the luxurious Water Botanical Garden, an oasis nestled at the heart of the town. The festival was a carousel of vibrant colors and jubilant sounds, a celebration of renewal and community. Strings of lanterns swayed gently in the breeze, while laughter and music intermingled with the chatter of townsfolk. As she navigated the lively stalls and eager crowds, Lauren Evans, a burgeoning intern at the local paper, clutched her notepad tightly. Her auburn hair caught the sunlight as it danced around her face, framing her determined gaze. There was nothing Lauren wanted more than to make her mark, to transition from an intern into a revered journalist. Hidden beneath this boisterous facade of celebration, she had a scent of a story, something dark simmering beneath Rosewater's veneer. In the midst of this merriment, a sudden commotion sent ripples through the crowd like a stone skimming across a serene pond. Word spread fast, igniting curiosity and dread. Dr. Veronica Hayes, the esteemed philanthropist and beloved figure in Rosewater, was found gravely injured in the heart of the garden. Her mysterious plight was the fissure that threatened to crack the blissful festival wide open. People surged towards the scene, their conversations turning to fervent whispers tinged with fear and speculation. Lauren pushed her way through, her mind racing with the possibilities. She could see the opportunity thrumming in the air like a live wire. What story would this become? A tragic accident? A link in a series of hidden controversies? As Lauren arrived at the cordoned-off area, the garden's symphony was muted, the whispers rising like a mist around the pool of intrigue. It was there she saw him, Tim Caldwell, a figure as recognizable as the blooming roses in the garden. A prominent businessman with fingers in many pies, his presence only fueled the rumors. The air hummed with polarity. Was he a bystander, or perhaps the very shadow behind Veronica's fall? Lauren's eyes narrowed with a mixture of ambition and suspicion. She approached the impromptu gathering of onlookers, her resolve crystallizing. This was her moment, where inquisitiveness could merge with aspiration to spotlight the truth, no matter how turbulent the journey. Without hesitation, she voiced her accusation, her words slicing through the collective breath like a knife. Could Tim Caldwell be responsible for Veronica's mysterious mishap? He's got more secrets than the garden has flowers, Lauren thought, eyeing Tim's composed exterior with scrutiny. Her vocal assertion painted Tim as a man with clandestine motives. The townspeople gasped. Their gazes flickered nervously between the protagonist and the accused, the festival's light-hearted atmosphere now devoured by shadows of uncertainty. Lauren's accusation was the seed from which lay potential discord, and she observed its effect ripple through the crowd. Voices rose in defense and suspicion, some eager to rally behind her claims, others to uphold Caldwell's integrity. The sweet aroma of lemon and jasmine was now tainted with the bitter tang of doubt. With the first strike of mystery and distrust unfolding in the idyllic Rosewater, the garden had become a spectacle, a stage where discord sprouted alongside the blooms. Amidst this setting sun that painted the town in hues of gold and pink, Lauren knew the heart of the story lay not just in uncovering Veronica's mystery, but in navigating the labyrinths of human motives and secrets, a task as intricate and tangled as the festival's web of lights illuminating the garden. And so, with a heart full of determination and a mind sharp with resolve, she began documenting the first chapter of what promised to be her most evocative piece, a tale as fragrant and elusive as the blooms swaying in Rosewater's balmy breath. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Garden. As the festival stretched into the evening, the Rosewater Botanical Garden transformed under the moon's gentle glow. The fragrant bouquet of lemon and jasmine thickened, lacing the air with an intoxicating allure that shrouded the garden in mystery. The sun, having relinquished its claim, left behind a sky strewn with stars, each one flickering like a whispered secret. Ellie Fisher sat quietly on the edge of the garden's stone path, her sketchpad open on her lap. Under the pale luminescence, shadows played tricks on her vision, weaving their dance among the leaves and roses. It was a sight she found captivating, yet eerily disquieting. Ellie, a quiet observer in a bustling world, often found solace in the silent company of nature, her thoughts as vivid and untamed as the blooming flora around her. She was there that evening, letting her pencil glide over paper, etching the stories whispered by the night breeze. Her loneliness often found echoes in the rustle of leaves or the distant, mournful call of a dove. But tonight, the whispers carried something different, an unease that crystallized the serenity into sharp shards. Setting her sketch pad aside, she meandered deeper into the garden, drawn by the allure of secrets beckoning from its depths. Her footsteps were hushed, swallowed by the soft bed of petals underfoot. As Ellie approached the garden's heart, cloaked in shadows, she witnessed a scene she'd forever cherish in the gallery of her mind. A clandestine meeting between Dr. Veronica Hayes and an indistinct figure framed by the ethereal glow of moonlight. Their conversation was a delicate murmur, the words slipping between the night's breaths. Ellie strained to comprehend, her heart quickening not just for the intrigue, but for the isolation she sensed in Veronica's posture, a mirror of her own longing for connection. The atmosphere, saturated with the perfume of budding secrets, brimmed with unspoken words that lingered at the edge of audible comprehension. Ellie stepped back discreetly, veiled by the wisteria that hung like silent sentinels. Her breath held, she watched as the figures parted, Veronica lingering for a moment, as if caught between decision and hesitation. Then, as swiftly as the encounter unfolded, the shadowed figure disappeared into the labyrinth of flora, leaving Veronica to cast a furtive glance around before hurriedly departing. The garden around Ellie whispered, a susurrus of leaves and doubts that stroked her imagination. Was this an innocent rendezvous, or the seed from which treachery would bloom? Her heart pounded with the rhythm of questions, none of which found answers among the serenade of nightingales that resumed their chorus. Returning to her sketch pad, Ellie attempted to capture the scene in sweeping strokes, her pencil nearly chanting along with her racing thoughts. In a world where reality was often perceived in vibrant hues or muted tones, this painted a canvas of grayscale, with truths perched precariously on the edges of light and shadow. Ellie's narrative, punctuated by the cries of the unseen and the felt presence of the garden's thicket, painted Veronica in a light of mystery intertwined with solitary longing. It hinted at complexities, of a woman perhaps burdened by more than just her public benevolence. Did Veronica seek solace in the garden's embrace, or was she navigating a maze of guileful intentions? As she blended charcoal into her sketches, Ellie's introspection turned a leaf. What had she truly witnessed? Her observations reeked of curiosity and possibility, and with each stroke immortalizing that destined night, the question of trust bloomed in her mind. As her drawings conveyed an unspoken connection shared beneath starry skies, doubts began to knot themselves into her perception of reality. Within this intersection of mystique and revelation, the garden whispered reminders of stories untold, secrets unshared, and an ever-present wait for truth to unravel among Rosewater's entwined limbs of rumor and resolve. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Echoes of Confrontation. The echoes of familial discord swirled like spring winds through the tangled pathways of the Rosewater Botanical Garden, marking the scene for a new narrative. The afternoon's vivid celebration had dulled into the muted palette of twilight, casting long shadows across the labyrinth of blooms. Amidst this shifting hue, young Alan Turner strode with a rebellious spark in his eyes, his movements defiant against the pathways he traversed almost daily. Alan was a dichotomy, bluster and bravado housed in a frame not yet grown into its potential. With dark hair perpetually ruffled like a breeze-swept day and a gaze perpetually scanning the distance, he often veered between the precipice of youthful idealism and the chasm of cynical reality. The festival had been a respite, albeit temporary, from the relentless clamor of his home life, yet this escape found itself invaded by the unrelenting specter of familial frailty. Earlier that day, Alan had overheard an argument while lingering at the garden's edge, its resonance cutting through the botanical harmony with the sharp precision of a gardener's shears. Veronica Hayes and her sister Rebecca exchanged pointed words that ricocheted with an intensity that reverberated through Alan's very core, like strikes from a sledgehammer on brittle glass. Their voices, pitched in anger, mingled with the choir of summer's blossoming life, setting the scene for a confrontation writ in the colors of strained ties. Alan hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but proximity made his presence inevitable. As Veronica's commanding voice ebbed and flowed, sometimes harsh like the snap of lavender, other times softer like petals unfurling to morning light, he caught snippets of despair entwined with accusations. Words like trust and betrayal impaled the air, leaving emotional residues that clung to him like pollen in the spring breeze. From behind the hydrangeas, he observed, a reluctant audience to the performance of truth's unraveling. Rebecca's voice, a sharp, bitter rebuke, cut through the garden's fragrance, its edges raw from emotions that hadn't healed over. Veronica's attempts at placation only seemed to worsen the rift, exposing old wounds like petals savaged by an unexpected frost. Caught between empathy and intrigue, Alan wrestled with his own family's shadows, unspoken grievances and misunderstood intentions that mirrored those ghosts forged between Veronica and Rebecca. His parents' arguments were tireless loops of the same castigations and despair. Here in the garden, another family's fraught dynamics paralleled his own. Each harbored resentment mirrored an echo of personal pain amplified by this public recount. The sisters eventually parted ways amidst a thick silence that settled over the garden like dusk tempered by a storm cloud. Veronica walked away, her silhouette slender against the setting sun, every step a manifestation of unyielded burdens. Watching her leave, Alan felt an unexpected kinship, a shared tether of misunderstood isolation. As night descended, the memory of confrontation lingered like the perfume of evening primrose, and Alan began to cultivate his own narrative. Through his eyes, familial strife was the enduring struggle against tides of expectation and the relentless demands of loyalty. The world had turned, but its rotations left familial ties to resiliently bind people, even as they threatened to shatter under pressure. Alan's narrative danced with reality, informed by the evening's disputes and mingled with the ache of personal history. In its bleak edges, he found the uneasy revelations of kinship. The truth was complex and often painful, a garden of buds burdened by emotional weight. He turned his gaze skyward, to stars twinkling their ancient light, seeking guidance amidst the celestial. As the gentle rustle of leaves accompanied the fall of darkness, Alan's tale intertwined with the enigmatic stories unfolding within Rosewater's embrace, each echo a reminder of the intricacies hidden beneath human facades. Among the shadowed rows of the garden, amidst rising doubts and clarifying truths, he hoped for a reconciliation that could bridge divides. Perhaps within this enclave of unseen truths and revealed lies, there lay the balm for a fractured soul, one that could offer respite from the reverberations of familial dissonance in an unforgiving world. And so, the night continued, carrying with it the secrets Alan would bear witness to, alongside the rest of Rosewater, in the unfolding drama whose resolutions eluded even the most astute of observers. Chapter 4, Reflections of Truth. In the soft morning light, where the first touches of dawn caressed the dewdrops resting atop the garden's blooms, Miguel Santos found himself wandering through the Rosewater Botanical Garden. The fountain at its center, a stoic symbol of continuity amidst change, trickled with serene grace. It was here, amidst the quiet symphony of morning birdsong and whispering wind, that Miguel reflected on the events that had unfolded with such fervor just the day before. Miguel was a man of few words, his silence often misinterpreted as reticence when in truth he was a meticulous observer of life's subtleties. His age-worn hands, calloused from years of crafting wood into works of art, lightly brushed against the petals of a nearby rose, as if hoping its softness might impart wisdom upon the complexities he pondered. The garden, in its tranquil glory, was a tableau of secrets and revelations. It was here that he had seen something others had missed, caught in the peripheral vision of a night's walk through the rows of lemon and jasmine. Miguel's heart had stirred with empathy as he witnessed a distressed woman, not Veronica, but Rebecca herself, fleeing the scene with tears reflecting the moonlight. Her agony, a silent cry that gripped his soul, hinted at a deeper narrative than the town had so far speculated. The echoes of yesterday's discord were still vivid in his mind, a cacophony of accusations and doubts, swirling with the whimsical projections of perception. Tim Caldwell's stoic defense under Lauren's glaring scrutiny, Ellie's whispered revelations of moonlit encounters, Alan's observations wrapped in familial turmoil. All these stories snake through conversations, each trapping a shade of truth within their webs. As Miguel meandered towards the fountain, he found solace in its gentle lullaby, its undisturbed surface a mirror to his thoughts. Here, with water gliding over stone, he recollected the hurried conference he had encountered between Rebecca and Veronica days before. The sisters' words were laced with tension, marred by years of unspoken grievances seeking to be heard, an endeavor that had seemingly consumed them both. Setting their scene within the mosaic of narratives, Miguel realized the magnitude of what he had witnessed. Rebecca's apparent flight from the garden the night of Veronica's injury might not be the mere act of escape, but a broader nuance of exposure, one that spoke of guilt, regret, or perhaps a decision burdened by love and loyalty. Intrigued by the rationalization or disintegration of relationships, Miguel approached Tim Caldwell at the edge of the fountain. The man stood soaked in contemplation, his focus drawn to the cascading water, its timeless fall mirroring the ebb and flow of recurrent life storms. "Tim," Miguel called gently, his voice carrying the weight of wisdom and understanding. Tim turned, his usual commanding facade softened here among the blooms. "Morning, Miguel," he acknowledged, the cordial veneer belying the inner conflict Miguel sensed simmering beneath his surface. Together they spoke in hushed tones, the discourse unraveling truths obscured by their complexities. Both understood the seismic ripples a single act could cause, the intricate dance of intentions, misunderstood and mislabeled. In Tim's contemplation, Miguel recognized a man navigating personal tumult, striving for peace amidst a storm few comprehended. With earnest resolve, Miguel shared his observations, shedding light on Rebecca's distressful departure. Tim listened, a spark of clarity igniting behind his eyes as he realized pieces were coming together, each bead on the string of events threaded with personal accountability and collective resolution. "The truth is as complex as the garden," Miguel mused, gesturing to the tapestry of flowers stretching beyond their view. "Every petal, every stem has its shadow, its part to play in shaping the larger picture." Through Miguel's recollection, the mosaic of characters began to interweave their narratives towards a singular resolution, a meeting of minds where differences could inspire change and bonds sundered could find new roots. From shared conversations arose a dialogue of reconciliation, where bias gave way to understanding, and fractured relationships began to mend, a harmonious progression towards a resolution intricately crafted by Miguel's guiding insight. Together, they recognized that truth's path was not a solitary road, but a shared journey, one which each denizen of Rosewater must travel. As Miguel stood beside the fountain, he contemplated how this individual tapestry, woven from a multitude of truths, could serve as both the keeper and the catalyst of healing within their cherished community. The garden, sacred in its role as bearer of whispers and keeper of secrets, held steadfast as the town's narratives converged upon its paths. Underneath the shifting shades of early morning, Miguel sensed the onset of a new beginning, for in recognition's embrace lay the key to redemption, revealing the garden's ultimate gift, balance within the kaleidoscope of perceptions, and a restored peace as beautiful and resilient as nature's own designs. Thank you for listening to My Ghostwriter.